Hey there, welcome to my channel. I'm Melanie Kenny from Kenny Collection, and today we will be sculpting a demon. Here are a few of the supplies that we'll be using for this tutorial. A 32-ounce Plump tumbler from the Steel Magnolia, some sculpting tools, and super Sculpey clay. You'll begin by rolling a 2-inch ball of clay and then rolling it again between your palms to get an elongated oval. Once you get your oval shape, you'll go ahead and just flatten it out a bit with an acrylic roller. Once you've rolled it out to about a 1/4 inch depth, you'll go ahead and place it on your tumbler and press firmly all around to make sure that it is secure onto the tumbler and not going to fall off. When your tumbler is firmly in place, you'll just want to pinch on both sides of the face about halfway down just to make sure that the lower half is thinner. To start on the face details, it helps if you sketch it out on the clay first, and here I'm just scoring lines all over, just getting a general idea of where I will be putting all my details. You can kind of see the details here, and then you'll go ahead and start carving out the depth of the mouth. Here it is after carving it and smoothing it out a bit. So then comes the face details, and we'll start by rolling out some balls of clay and placing them where the brow ridges would be. Make sure that the ends of the brows are pointed up so that it goes along with the angry expression of the demon. Next up is these cheekbones. So we have some elongated teardrop shapes, and we're putting them right there underneath where the eyes would be. Next, you'll gently carve out the space for the nose cavity, though this will only be just to get a general idea of where it is on the face, and we'll be completing it at a later time in the tutorial. Moving on to the mouth, you'll go ahead and roll out a few snakes of clay and add them all along the edges of the mouth. Going back up to the forehead now, you'll blend in those brows onto the base. And I switched to my awesome tool here by Ave Studio, and let me tell you guys, this tool really is awesome. I love it. Also blend in the cheekbones and all of the little snakes that we added around the mouth. You'll then start adding all of your forehead details. And if you want to save yourself some time, make them a little bit larger and closer together than I did here, because you'll see me go back and add in some more later on because these weren't quite big enough. At this point, you're ready to go ahead and start blending all of those pieces into each other. Going back down to the cheeks, you'll go ahead and roll out 2 small balls of clay and flatten them into tiny little triangles. Once you have a triangle that looks like this and that's elongated on one side, you can place it right underneath the existing cheekbone hump and do the same thing on the opposite side. Blend that into the cheekbone hump that's above it, as well as the base that's below it. So here are the areas where the clay pieces could have been a little bit larger to fill out his forehead. So I'm just going to roll out some clay and fill out those areas. Now that he's looking much more proportionate, we'll move on to the nose area and just carving it out, making it a little bit deeper and longer so that it's proportionate with his eyes and mouth. Roll out a tiny bit of clay, fold it in half, and add it right at the top of the nose, just to create the ridge for that bony outside. Blend this in very gently. For the next part, you'll start on the teeth, and you can either do this the hard way like I did, by poking holes in the gum areas and sticking the teeth in them. Or you can pre-bake your teeth and just stick them right there in the gums. It's much easier, makes a lot more sense. Here is what it looks like. I did 5 teeth on the top and 5 teeth on the bottom, with the top 2 edge teeth being larger than the rest. And here he is with his very scary looking pointy teeth. So then we'll move on to the horns. Roll 2 equal sized balls of clay. Once those are equal in size, roll out 1 ball, making sure that it is gradually thinner on one end. Curve it out a bit from the base and then back in towards the top. And then do the exact same thing with the other ball, just mirror the direction of the curves. Now it's time for some texture. So here I'm using a wooden tool that's elongated and pretty thin, so that when you press it into the horn, it creates a nice clean indented line. And just repeat this all the way from the bottom to the top of the horn. Here's what it looks like. Kind of looks like a unicorn horn. So then do the same thing on the other horn. Now you have a pair of cute textured horns that you'll apply to the top of the heads and just blend it right in. And here is how he looks with the horns. It's looking pretty good so far. So now all we have left to do is the interesting ear things. So we'll start by rolling out a small snake of clay and rolling it out till it's about 1.5 inches long. And here I'm just measuring it against the side of the head to make sure that it is long enough. Then roll out another snake of clay that will be just a little bit longer than the first one. And 2 more shorter ones that will go in between those 2 longer ones. Now we're whipping out the pasta machine so we can roll out a few small slabs of clay and place these little snakes that we made in a flared pattern right on top of that. Once you have them on there like this, go ahead and trim any excess or roll another slab of clay and place that right on top of where those snakes are. To smoothly sandwich this together, start on one side, pressing along the rolled out clay and going along inside that same piece and continuing with each one after that. We want those rolled out pieces to really stand out, so I'm just taking a ball tool here and running it along all of the pieces, along the inside and outside, and on front and back. Now it's time to shape it. So trim along the longer rolled out pieces on the outsides. And then also trim in between each piece in a scalloped pattern. Once you have some nice points, smooth down the edges and any imperfections. Here it is. So then do the same exact thing on the other side, just mirror those longer and shorter pieces. Once you've got them smoothed and symmetrical, Crimp the center area where they all meet just a tiny bit so that it is easier to place on the head and to smooth on. Place it right above the cheekbone and smooth it on, and then repeat with the other ear. Here is the final look of the demon. He came out so good. I hope this tutorial helped. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe, and join the 3D Tumbler Lounge on Facebook for more tips and tutorials on sculpting and 3D tumblers. Have a happy day, and watch out for Vecna.